Hey, high achievers, if you are feeling burnt out, exhausted, and feeling like you are just completely drained, you're not alone. Stick around because this video is for you. The thing about burnout is that burnout is quick to really just rob us of our confidence. Now, when you are not feeling at your best, you know that you're not producing at your best. But burnout will not win. And that's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford, and I'm here to help you break free from burnout. Now, here are 7 ways that burnout tries to rob you of your confidence. And I'm going to give you 7 fixes, most importantly, of how you can fix that. So stick around to the very end of this video. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel because we're all about breaking free from burnout and recovering from that crazy journey. All right. So what are 7 ways that burnout tries to really rob you of your confidence? One way, and the first way it does, is through physical exhaustion. Now, anyone who's ever been burnt out know that you are just exhausted. You wake up, you're tired, you drive to work, and you're like, any of you have had to just put your head on the steering wheel and just trying to figure, like, do I want to go in this building again? Do I want to deal with these people again? Physical exhaustion. All you're thinking about is, I can't wait to get back. Get back to bed. Physically exhausted. When you're physically exhausted, like, how great will you be? How confident are you? Not that much. The second thing that it does is that it takes away your mental energy by getting you into a mental fog. Now, one of the ways that it does that is that burnout really affects that prefrontal cortex, that decision-making center of your brain. So you are unable to make executive decisions. What are executive decisions? Decisions such as high-level decisions. First, I do number 1, then number 2, then number 3. Those are decisions that helps you to really make and to have an impact on what it is that you're trying to do. So when you're trying to allocate and trying to figure out which one is most important, which one is second important, and third important, those are decisions that are help executive to function, help you to make those decisions. When you're burnt out, big fog. Can't even figure out which one is more important for you to do first or second or third. And when you're like that, especially at work, what starts to happen? Your confidence starts to go down, right? A third way that burnout comes at you, that's right, it attacks your confidence, is by that perfectionism streak that you have. Now, for those of us who have that perfectionism, type A personality, you want everything to be done perfectly. When you're burnt out, guess what's happening? It's not getting done perfectly. And you're looking and you're trying to figure out, why am I not able to do this perfectly? I tell you, because you're burned out. Simple. You're unable to really process that information because of that mental fog. So you're staring at the person providing that information to you and trying to figure out, what are they even trying to tell me, right? And how can I allocate this information? And then the next thing you're trying to do is to do it perfectly. Not happening. But you can see how you can start to feel less than when you're unable to hit that perfection streak that you're so used to. And that happens because of burnout. Now, a fourth way that burnout comes and digs at your confidence is through the decreased productivity sector. How does that work? First of all, you can't even process the information. You're trying to be perfect. And the amount of information and work that you're putting out is getting less and less. Probably because you're stuck in the zone of perfection, where you're trying to do this to the best of my ability. So something that should be taking 20 minutes is now taking 40, 45 minutes, because 25 of it is you trying to figure out what it is that I need to do in the first place. So you can just see how your productivity starts to go down, and then you start doubting yourself. Why am I even here? I can't do this like my colleague. I'm not able to process this. And you can see how your confidence just starts to wane. Now, once that starts to go down, there's something else that's happening. You start to feel disconnected, and you're looking around and you're like, am I even here? Why am I even here? You feel disconnected with the why, with the purpose of your job, or even the role that you're playing in your job. And you can see how that confidence starts getting eroded even, and it goes in further and down. next thing you just start to just feel numb emotionally. Now, before you might have been like, oh, why am I here? The next thing you're just like, it is what it is. That emotional numbness. Now we know that emotional numbness is a protective mechanism. And yes, you're trying to protect yourself from really having to sit with those feelings, but it's there nonetheless. So the emotional numbness is there, and you start to just doubts like, why am I here? I don't even know what my role is. And you start to use that barrier of cynicism sometimes, which is another thing that happens with burnout. That's cynicism, where you just become cynical and there's no emotional attachment to what's going on. And then after that, you know what steps in? That negative self-talk. So number 7 is the negative self-talk, where you wake up, what's the use? Why are you even here? Oh, you're not going to get this done right anyway. You're always getting things wrong. Look at you. You can't even make any decision. Why do they even have you as the manager? Are people supposed to look up to you? You can't make decisions. Oh, here we go. Oh, so you are a leader. Oh, really? When did you become a leader? You weren't even a leader back in high school. What about grammar school? What about kindergarten? You couldn't even lead the kindergarten parade, but now you're a leader in this big corporation. The negative self-talk and going and going and going. All that negative self-talk, what does it do? It erodes at your confidence. So those are 7 ways that your confidence gets jabbed because of burnout. But have no fear. Whenever there's a problem, great thing is that there are solutions. So now let's go over the 7 ways for us to solve that problem. When burnout tries to come at us, we don't sit and take it. We play defense. Yes, we play defense. And this is what we do. So when you are having that emotional and physical exhaustion, where you are unable to make any decision because you're just so physically exhausted, what is the solution? You start to prioritize number 1. Who is number 1? You are. Not your boo, not your baby, not your kid. Like person in my life. Yeah, but if you're not there, who will be the number 1 person to help to take care of those kids? Absolutely. So you have to take care of self first. So self-care. Start prioritizing self-care. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, eat your nails. I'm talking about rest, quality rest, and sleep. That's important, because when you are deep in that physical exhaustion, you will need to get some mental rest because you're unable to make quality decisions. So rest is important. Quality rest. Now, I don't want to hear sleep is sleep. Okay. The body physiologically needs sleep. So we are built to sleep. Have you ever had a computer that's just going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, consistently? How long does that computer last? You need to restore that computer. And the same thing happens to us. Now, when you're up all the time, sleep is for suckers, then you know what? Those telomeres start going down. Now, you're probably wondering, what Dr. Beckford talking about telomeres? Yeah, I'm a scientist at heart. You know what? Telomeres, go look it up. You can just see snap and snap and snap. The telomeres helps us with our longevity in life. And if we don't get any rest, they start to compensate and they start to erode. So you will start to lose those and you will be losing years on your life. So sleep is important. So when you're getting deep in that physical exhaustion of burnout, start to prioritize some great rest, right? That's number 1. Number 2, that mental fog is coming at you and you're just able to, I can't make these decisions. Which one is number 1, number 2? Like, how do I prioritize? That's okay. When you have a large mountain, how do you scale that mountain? Do you just go and like pole vault over it? No, you do it one step. And that's the same thing that you're going to do with those decisions. You're going to break them down into small bite decisions, and then you're going to tackle them one step. Now, why is that so important? Because when you are able to tackle decisions and you are able to check that off of your list of goals, your confidence naturally starts to increase. So when you have a list of things that you need to do, you start to feel overwhelmed, right? The same thing happens when you're burned out. You're overwhelmed. But when you break them down into small bite size, then you're able to tackle the decisions one decision at a time. And each time you tackle it, you start to feel more confident. You get more energy. You get more clarity. And you're able to tackle more and more decisions. Don't underestimate breaking down those big decisions into smaller decisions to help you to boost that confidence that burnout tries to rob you. And then the third thing, now that perfectionism. There's a song about it. Like to hear it? Here it goes. Let it go. That's right. When you're in deep dunks of burnout, you're not going to be able to get everything perfectly. You're already breaking down those decisions into bite-sized pieces, but what you need to do next is called progress over perfection. Getting it done is better than getting it perfect. So when you are in that deep belly, be able to check that list off. I got it done. And then you move on to the next step. Perfectionism is something that is hard to attain. And when we keep driving towards it, we internalize any mistakes that happen because we want to be perfect. It's not possible perfect. You can get close, but it's not possible. But when you're in burnout, you just need to be able to get things done. Small things done. I got up out of bed today. I made it through that meeting. I came home. Got it done. That's what's important. Progress over perfection. All right? So the fourth thing, when we start having that decreased productivity and we start having that, oh, I'm not as good as the rest of my team, slow down. Another thing that you can do is start to write down, what are your small wins? We already talked about the progress over perfection, and we also talked about being able to break things down into bite-sized pieces. So that goal that you were able to attain, write it down. Small goal, small win, achievement, done. So no, you're not less than your team. You're doing things, but the one thing that you're not doing is focusing on the fact that you are getting something accomplished because you're in that zone that's called burnout. So write down a win that you're doing daily. Write down something that you're able to accomplish daily, and you'll see that you're doing way more than you think. So when your mind is telling you that you're having decreased productivity, then you can write down and see that you're actually progressing and producing. So number 5, that feeling of disconnect. When you just start to just disconnect and trying to figure out your why, one thing that you can do is start to write down that infamous, why is it that I'm doing this? Why is it that I wanted this job? Why is it that I wanted to attain said goal? There's a wonderful book by Simon Sinek that's called Start With Your Why. Read that book. It helps you to pull in some meaning, because one of the things that we lose during burnout is our sense of accomplishment. We also lose our sense of meaning. Like, why am I even doing this? What is my purpose in life? You start to lose the meaning. But once you start to go back, and once you go back and you attain that meaning, then it helps you to understand why you're making those decisions, what it is that you want out of life, and then you make the decisions to steer your life in that way. So yes, burnout tries to erode at your confidence. Like, yeah, there's no meaning to your life now, burnout. We're not here. There is, and I'm going to find that meaning by writing down my. Now, the emotional numbness, which is number 6 that comes with burnout, what is a way that you can really overcome your emotional numbness is by sitting in the awareness of this, right? Sitting in the awareness. Now, when you are emotionally numb, we say that you can become cynical, but there's a reason you're cynical. Sit and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is it about A, B, and C that has me feeling this way? And sit with it. Am I angry? Am I nervous? Am I overwhelmed? What is it? Why am I angry? Why am I nervous? Why am I overwhelmed? What do I need in order to not be angry, to not be nervous, to not be overwhelmed? Sit. Let this out. You might need to journal it. You might need to call a confidant and have a conversation so that you can really sit in this emotional awareness. Don't ignore it. Do not ignore it. It's okay to have emotion. We're human beings. That's why Disney makes movies about it, right? Isn't there a movie about it right now? Yes. So it's important for us to sit, understand these emotions, and to be able to let the emotions out and move on. So when we're getting that cynicism, it's time for us to either journal or have a conversation with a counselor. Now, the seventh thing is that negative self-talk. We're not going to let that happen. Now, negative self-talk, normally we have around 70,000 thoughts a day, and almost 70% of them are negative at baseline. When you are burnt out, these negative thoughts are explosion. It's almost like they are just even more and more. But what you can do in order to get rid of those negative self-talk, it's not going to happen all at once, is that you start to reframe and then ask, is this true? So when your mind is saying, well, you can't even control anything, like how are you in charge? What can you control? Is this true? I do have control. I can control, and then you write down what are the things that you can control, because you do have control. One of the worst things that can happen is us to keep all of these thoughts in our mind and they just jumble and juggle. When you pull it out and put it on paper and you say it out loud, you start to realize that's correct. But if I keep it in my mind, I keep thinking it's correct. But when I write it on paper, I realize that absolutely I do have control. Yes, I can make decisions. Yes, I make quality decisions. Yes, I can lead a team. Yes, I have led teams before, and I can do it again. So don't let that negative self-talk stay in you and stay in your mind. Bring it to paper, read it out loud, and then turn them into positive affirmation. You can do this. Now, one of the things, like we said, is that burnout sits there and it tries to destroy your confidence. But I'm here to let you know that do not let it. So when you are here and you're feeling that physical exhaustion, prioritize self and get right. When you're feeling that mental fog, break down those big decisions into small, bite-sized decisions and attain those goals. When you are there feeling that perfectionism is trying to spiral and get you feeling overwhelmed, tell yourself, no, this is progress over perfection, right? When you feel like I'm just having decreased productivity and I'm not able to get things done, write down the small wins that you're having daily and you'll realize that you're doing a lot more than you thought. When you're having this feeling of disconnect, start writing down what is my why, what is my sense of purpose and the reason I started this project or this job in the first place. When you're feeling that emotional numbness, sit with it. Ask, why am I feeling this way? Why is this emotion coming up? And what is it that I can do about it? Call a confidant. When you're having that negative self-talk, reframe that into positive affirmation. And these are powerful ways that we can, get rid of burnout that is trying to decrease our confidence. So we're going to boost our confidence with these solutions. Now, here's the other thing too. Burnout tries to isolate you. And that's something when you're sitting by yourself, a lot of these things are going on in your mind. But don't stay isolated. If you are deep in burnout, reach out for help. Contact someone. Contact a confidant. If you would love to have help, I would love to be there for you. So reach out to me, put a comment, send me a DM, send me a personal message, and say, hey, Dr. Beckford, I'd love for you to help me to overcome burnout. And I'd say, absolutely. Now, they're also going to be very, very great important information that I'll leave some freebies there in the comment or in the descriptor section. So here, download your freebie in the descriptor section of this video and make sure that you do not let burnout win. We are here to help you. I am Dr. Beckford, and I've told you before and I'll tell you again. I am here to help. I'm here to help you boost your energy. I'm here to help you break free from burnout, and I'm here to help you on this channel with the recovery from burnout. I'll see you in our next video. Bye-bye.